Welcome to another episode of the Two for One podcast. I'm your host, Dion, and alongside me on this breezy Saturday afternoon are my co hosts, live from the GTA, where his Raptors play their first game of 2026 against the vaunted Atlanta Hawks. It is my main man, Mitchell Sider. Mitch, the Raptors are 20 and 15 right now, good for fourth in the East. What will their record be when we do our first episode of 2027 next year?
What the? Hey man, there's a well off possibility that they could be a top four seed as well. There's also a
Yeah.
possibility that the Raptors are a 12 seed by the time we recoup to this. So I'll split the difference and say they'll be in the playoff hunt around 7 or 8, I would say, next
Okay,
year.
gotcha. I just wanted to get your gauge on like the long-ish term future of this Raptors team. But joining me live from the center of the diner capital of the world, the one
Hell
and
yeah.
only Nate Taylor, where his Knicks, or at least some of them, were defeated by those same vaunted Hawks. Caw last night in the Garden. Nate, are the Knicks going to bounce back tonight against the 76ers?
I wish I'd be confident saying yeah, but they're playing on a back to back. Last time they played the Sixers was on a back to back. They lost. Um, yeah. Thanks, Adam Silver. Really cool scheduling you got there. I love playing the Bulls twice in 3 days. I love playing the Sixers twice in the first 30 games, and they're both on the back end of a back to back. Really cool stuff. I love the NBA Cup being 2 weeks into the season. Amazing. Just like, keep stacking it on.
I kind of
Yeah.
actually like the baseball series, like when you play a team back to
I
back.
don't. I don't like that at all. I think it's unfair.
We played Cleveland 3 times in 12 days.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
felt like I
like,
was watching Cleveland Raptors for 4 days in a row, and it
Three,
was
yeah, three might be too much. You're playing all three of them all like in a row, especially when it's two good teams. But I don't know. I kind of like the home and home sometimes.
I mean, we got three. We dusted those boys
all
3-0.
I know is that it feels like the last 3 seasons the Knicks have played the Bulls twice in 3 days every single season, and it's just bizarre. It's
That is,
always a
yeah, that is a
split.
weird one.
It is
Yeah,
always a split.
Intern,
yeah.
bring those stats up.
Yeah, I don't. We don't have
Oh,
our intern here today. He's
oh.
Ah, yes,
going
he's
fixing his
driving
car.
cars. He's driving cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Chevy
wanted to
Silverado.
wanted to spend today's episode just talking about some current events in the NBA. Obviously, we had the first return of the NBA All-Star voting. Just wanted to have a quick discussion about it because obviously the fans will determine the starters. So once that is set in stone, kind of makes it easier to figure out who those last seven spots are going to go to in each conference. Anything really jump out to you guys as far as where the first returns came in?
Well, I know my first thing, but I want Mitch to go first.
There's a polar bear in Arlington, Texas.
Ooh.
There's first of all, Joel Embiid. What the fuck? What are we doing there? Cool that the Knicks are getting rewarded for, kind of having this like sustained success season. So having Brunson, Hart, and OG. I thought there was and McCall right there is
Yeah.
fucking fantastic. Um, LeBron being number 9, of course, that he has an army of drones who will vote for him regardless if he's even in the league anymore. Um, Interesting to see Luca lead all players. That's I mean,
Who are
yeah,
you expecting it
like
to be?
I thought it'd be
I mean,
Jokic.
I thought it'd be Jokic or Shea at this point. Like there's like just like the cult following around the certain superstars of the NBA right now.
Yeah, I thought
Seeing, sorry, you go.
I was SGA having only 878K to me was kind of mind
Wild,
blowing.
wild, right?
I was great and like happy to see Brunson get more votes than usual. I'm insanely shocked that we see Tyrese Maxey at 1.07 million and you see SGA at 878K. That's
I
crazy
have
to me.
one very simple explanation as to why, like, kind of answer to all of that.
Philly
Um,
fans?
no, not even that. Although I do think, yeah, the combination of Philly fans and Luca in LA definitely boost it. But I think it's as simple as this: when you go, have you guys cast a ballot yourselves?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good job, good on you. But when you go to the app and you go to place your votes and you click on, you just start scrolling through. It's sorted by points per game. Luca and Maxi are right up there at the top.
True.
So I
Oh my
think
God,
for the
I'm sorry,
majority
I
of
didn't
people
even
who are casting
realize.
their votes, those are like just the first names that they
Well,
see.
SGA
Yeah.
is third.
That I think is because despite the quote unquote cult following, I mean SGA isn't OKC. Like I don't think he has. I know he has the Canada support. Mitch, I wanted to talk to you
Cade's
about the
in
lack of
Detroit. He
Canada
got a
support in this
milli.
voting. Um,
I mean, Cade is in Detroit. He got a million.
yeah, but I think Cade's a pretty popular player at this point.
I do too, but I thought SGA was like I know SGA isn't
True,
probably
yeah,
the
Cade
level
having
of
more than SGA.
popularity
Yeah, I
we're
guess.
used to
Yeah,
seeing. Like SGA is still obviously a superstar of all superstars, but in popularity terms, I think he's one of the least
Yeah.
popular MVP caliber players we've seen in a long time. But I still thought it'd be enough for him coming off a championship and putting up an arguably even better season with the Thunder having only lost 5 games up to this point that he would have more than 878K.
Yeah, that does actually, now that you really pointed out, does strike me as pretty low. What really stood out to me was just the
Yeah, yeah.
disparity between East and West. Like, yes, Luca is the leader amongst all vote getters, but there's four guys in the Eastern Conference that surpassed a million, only three in the Western Conference. And just
Big
this, like
difference.
it, and it, I mean, it does drop off very starkly after that. But I was just surprised at that the East seemed to be more popular at the top.
Yeah, the West has more depth. Like you go down 10th is Austin Reeves who has 485, and 10th for the East is Michael Porter with 150.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess
So
that does contribute to like the top guys getting more
for
votes.
me though, also it's crazy that LeBron's not going to be an All-Star this year. Even with I thought with his popularity, he would still have been top three in voting because he's by far the most popular player in the world. Him and Steph. That was a shocker to me. I think,
But
at
like I
least
said,
on
the
the
points per
greatest.
game, I mean, you got to scroll pretty far down unless you're just going out of your way to vote for
Yeah, well,
LeBron.
I thought people would largely the people voting for All Stars would strictly be going to the ballot because I'm gonna vote LeBron
Mhm.
because LeBron has the most cult. I don't think that's fair to say, right? He has the most cult following fan or
Oh, I mean,
cultish
yeah, I mean,
fan
yeah,
base of
right.
any player.
I mean, yeah, but I think of the 536,000 votes, a vast majority of them probably are those people. So I guess
Yeah,
that goes to show the size of um the fan base.
I'm
But
good. I'm not to say like I'm happy. LeBron's not going to be in the All Star game. But I'm happy that the right people are going to get it. Hopefully,
mhm.
then because the right people should be starting right
Yeah,
now.
that is
If you
something
tell
that stood
me
out for sure. Like they
Like
pretty much got it right.
if you tell me that the starters are going to be Luka, Jokic, Steph, SGA, Wemby, I don't have a problem with that. As much as
Right.
I wouldn't have Steph starting, he still deserves to be an All Star, and I have no issue with him starting because it's Steph.
Yeah, and then Giannis, Maxey, Brunson, Cade, Donovan Mitchell. We'll see where the second fan vote returns. I think Jalen Brown might
We get
slide in there, but
4 point guards and Giannis if he
yeah, I mean,
plays.
I think for the most part, I'd have no problems with this being the final results, assuming that things continue to play out the way they look right now. Um, I did think though, like Şengün was pretty low. Was surprised to see him down there. Denny pretty high. I thought for sure, like seeing him seventh was definitely not what I expected.
I think
Him
it's
above
pretty
KD,
obvious
like
though, because Denny's also has. I mean, we're not going to get into the politics of it all, but
A
I mean,
whole country.
well, Denny has a whole country, and also pretty much every like Jewish people have not had many like
yeah,
Denny is one of the only successful Jewish athletes that we've seen in a very long time. So there is that. Not like there's a ton of Jews in the world. There's only like 14 million or whatever, but that's still you have an entire like country and people backing you. That's why I agree that I'm surprised to see Şengün that low because I thought
mm,
like when Zaza had the entire country of Georgia voting for him,
yeah,
I thought it'd be similar to that. I think that's pretty much what you see with a lot of the European guys. Other than Jokic, who's obviously just Jokic.
yeah. But I was just surprised to see Denny above KD and Şengün. But speaking of countries and their support for their players, no Scotty, Mitchell Sider. What say you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to take it with a huge grain of salt because it's the first voting, and it's not like a end all be all. This first one's more of like a, oh, cool. It's interesting that LaMelo was number 11, and you're
Hmm.
probably not going to see him be above guys like the Knicks' whole starting five when it comes to the second one. Um, it's cool to see Ingram so high too. Like, but I
True,
think
yeah. Ingram did make it on there. He was 12th.
if you spent some time on any platform that talks about Toronto, you'd know that a good 96.6% of our fan base
Hates him.
is the most melodramatic like form of people talking about it of all time. One week it's we love Emmanuel quickly. 3 days later they're gonna burn him at the stake. One week Scotty has the most historic Raptors game in a long time. And then the next week they're like, man, but he's at best a third option, and his defense is overrated, and he's the shooting. Who knows? It's a reactive, volatile fan base, just like everybody's fan base. But Toronto specifically is so quick to just oust their own players for like very minuscule reasons. Jakob Poeltl is terribly overpaid. I mean, quickly is terribly overpaid. But you ask a Raptors fans, what their opinion of them were like 3 days ago, they would have told you a completely different story than today.
Hmm.
I think I'm starting to see more and more of this as you're talking about it, and I think it's spewed into my phone, and they're listening now and just feeding me Raptors content on Twitter. Because I saw a bunch of Raptors fans saying, or people in general have just been going on Twitter and posting like at Grok, like Grok, the stupid
Remove
AI
it.
for,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they like remove the worst player, and then it was showed the four players in the Raptors: RJ, Quickly, Scotty, and Brandon Ingram,
Yeah.
and it removed Quickly. It was like ball, or they're like ball, and then someone replies, "Nah, Brandon Ingram," and then it was like a whole people like fighting about who's more ass, Brandon Ingram or Quickly, and I was like, Jesus.
I'll say
Oh
this,
man.
Raptors fans, we're never actually satisfied or happy. Scotty and Ingram have played, I'll say, infinitely better than any person could have predicted them to play together like 2 years ago. Like
Mhm.
if you asked anybody who was like kind of on the fence about the Ingram trade in the first place, what they think now, they'll tell you that they're like, I was on board with them working and clicking from the very beginning. I knew how talented they'd be. Truth is, everybody either hated it or sat on the fence long enough to be like, yeah, I told you so. It's just an unfortunate combination of Raptors fans who some of them haven't like I've gotten into some pretty serious debates on Reddit. I know that's one of the worst sentences anybody's ever said, but there's so many Raptors fans who are like, I bleed the white and red, but as push comes to shove, I would abandon this ship immediately. Like if this player left, they're just filled with plastic fans, and it sucks to be part of that fan base because the people associate everything that you like kind of push for an agenda for to be like, oh, you don't actually watch the games, you're a box score watcher, or you don't really actually enjoy that player. It's like most of us do. There's just a large enough group of Raptors fans who just like have no concept of basketball whatsoever, but we're willing to go to war at you and threaten your family over if you disagree with them.
Wow. Just
With all that being said, and I actually agree with it a lot based on what I've seen, and I can't say that I've gotten into, wars on Reddit discussing Raptors topics. I can't exactly say I've gotten to
Not
that
worth your
point.
time.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that deep into it. I've seen like the surface level stuff. I've skimmed the top layer. But right now, if one of those guys are getting in, who for you, I think one of those guys is going to get in because the
Yeah,
Raptors are our top five seed right now. Are they still top five?
they're
Are they
four
have
right
they
they're
now.
dropped to
four.
six? Yeah, they're four. Okay, so I'd probably give it to Scotty. But are you guys also on the same page with that?
Yeah, I would be. I mean,
I
if
mean,
Ingram
in
gets in
terms of
instead, I'm not mad, but my
yeah,
vote, if I had one, would go Scotty.
yeah, I voted Scotty every day and even the triple day votes, but like if push comes to shove, Brandon Ingram has more brand appeal. So like it would make sense if
Yeah.
Ingram made
Yeah,
it in.
I actually said that and realized in the same time that I've been putting Brandon Ingram on pretty much every single one of my ballots. So
Oh, bro, you've been riding for Brandon Ingram,
I
huh?
don't. Yeah, I've always I like his game, and I kind of just like want to see him get another All Star appearance because he's one of those guys that I feel like kind of got forgotten about for a few years, and I like those guys that
Yeah.
re-emerge as, oh, that guy's pretty good.
You're like, oh
But
yeah, he's good. I forget.
but
Like you kind of
yeah,
forget. Yeah.
overall, where the hell did he just go? Where did Mitch just go?
I don't know. I was gonna say though, I don't know if I've dropped this on the pod before, but speaking of Brandon Ingram, we had the same high school basketball coach.
You turned out just the same,
Yeah, right. I mean,
basically the same
yeah, I'm
people.
I'm basically Brandon Ingram on the court. All right, I had one last thought about All-Star voting before we move on. I just thought it was just a little peculiar just to see Paolo with like 700 more votes than Franz. Just thought that was a little interesting.
Well, what do you? There's more
Mm,
ball don't
mm.
stoppers in the
Yeah, I
world,
was gonna say
unfortunately,
Okay,
there
all
are
right,
than
fair.
the
Yeah, fair
thinking
enough.
there
Fair enough.
there
basketballers.
there are more tween hezzy splash enjoyers than there are of like the hoop nautical. Yeah, I enjoy this, but I can also appreciate the analytics. No, dog. He's right. The ball don't stop mafia is like they're pulling up in like blacked out G wagons and executing people like
The
us. All
thing
right.
is, too, Ball Don't Stop actually tweeted about him the other day or whatever, and people are overrating the advanced stats or whatever. This is like a 6'9" bully, like versatile, like shot creator. I'm like,
But he don't play like a
and,
Yeah, he
and
bully.
couldn't
every
leave the.
people, well, like the top comment was like, his game isn't even like aesthetically pleasing enough for you to be doing all this for him. Like it doesn't even make sense because his game is ugly as hell.
I agree.
That
I
actually
mean,
might
he is
be.
though. Like theoretically, he is a 6'9" bully, whatever. Like
He's like
his
if
actual, because I was looking at some of the numbers. Like he has the worst jump shooting numbers in the league right
yeah,
now. He
he's
has some of the best numbers on drives. Like he gets fouled more than anyone else in the league, like on a per drive basis,
But
more than Giannis, more than anybody.
I think everyone this week saw probably the stat about how he's like the worst, having one of the worst jump shooting seasons of all time, and everyone just
Yeah,
completely ran with that now. I don't know if there's any turning back at this point to the the general
he has.
public.
I mean, he has to change at this point because
Yeah.
he is an excellent driver. He is a really good inside scorer. The jumper has just never been there. But
You know what's funny actually? Completely off topic, but did you guys see James Naji just made his Baylor debut today?
oh, jeez, I'm rooting so hard against Baylor. Honestly,
It's
I
yeah.
hate the whole
Well,
situation.
they lost to TCU. James Naji played 16 minutes. He's the only positive play plus minus on the entire team with
He's a
+5.
professional. He's a professional basketball
Oh,
player.
he also had 4 fouls in 16 minutes, including 5 points and 4 rebounds
I think it's crazy.
with 2 turnovers.
Like, was he not signed to an NBA contract?
No, he wasn't ever signed to an NBA contract.
I
It
thought he
was
was
that's the stipulation. It was very like not official inked, but like very like it
He
was
was,
like this
I
is
don't,
probably going to happen, but then
well,
he was like,
so he was drafted with the 31st pick in 2 years ago by Minnesota. They had his draft rights, but he didn't come over, so it was a draft and stash or whatever. And then he was included in the Karl Anthony Towns trade. So then the Knicks just had his draft rights. I don't think he ever signed a contract with either of the
yeah,
team. I know he didn't
played
sign
with
one
him in
with the
summer league.
Knicks.
Yeah, but geez, I just hate the whole situation because it's
Yeah,
all just gonna go downhill
but
from here. But
as a Knicks fan, if he goes and plays really well at Baylor, and then all of a sudden the Knicks have a 21-year-old trade piece out of nowhere, I'm not going to be mad at that per se.
well, I guess so. I get it. I get it. To move on to the next topic, though, great transition by me. I wanted to just talk about another thing that's been on the minds of NBA fans recently. The 65 game rule, the 65 game minimum for awards. It's been a hot topic as of late, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it because I think that I'm in the minority just based on what I've been listening to, what I've been seeing online, etc. So I'm just curious where you guys stand because a lot of people are saying now with like with Jokic set to miss a month plus. Luca, Wemby, Giannis, they're all like pretty close to missing that mark, or at least on pace to be. A lot of people are saying, we need to kind of change this rule, get rid of this rule. I just want to see where you guys stand on this one.
Sucks.
So you're in
yeah.
the majority of like we should get rid of it.
No, I'm saying like
Oh, it
it
sucks to suck.
sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
sucks that you didn't play like the requirement. That's I don't know.
That's kind of where I stand. But Mitch, are we all on the same page?
I mean, there was ways to go about it in terms of like adjusting for the games played anyway. Like it should always have been like a percentage, not like an actual like number. But like, yeah, no, it just sucks to sucks, bro. Sometimes the best ability is availability.
Like
And if
that's
you're not available, you're gonna be penalized for it in the
and
grand
I
scheme
think
of
it's also
things.
nice because look at this. Now we have potential, you know, not real avenues, I guess, because SGA is the heavy favorite now, but there are potential conversations about other candidates that now can be had, and there are going to be years where it's not the same two people in the MVP running every single year. And I think being the most valuable player is partly being available for your team. If Jokic misses 4 to 6 weeks, how is that, him being valuable to his team? I'm not blaming Jokic for that, but that's just the reality of the situation. If you're missing, you know, are you just slumping back like in the disagreement, or is that just
No,
random
because
body?
I thought this was going to be a whole segment. This is exactly what I was going to say, and so I was just like, well, damn, okay,
Damn. Well,
we're
I
all
see.
on
I
the same
will.
page.
I will make the argument that I think maybe it should be lowered to 60 because for whatever reason, like 55, I don't like. Like I don't. I think 55 is too low, but I think
Yeah.
60 is. You missed 22 games. I still think you should probably be on there because like Nikola Jokic averaging 20, 25, or not 25, averaging 30, 13, and 12 or whatever it is, shouldn't not be on an All NBA team if he played 60 out of the 65 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel
because
like
if he,
60.
yeah, he's on
I
pace right now. He's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. I think 4 weeks from now for the Nuggets is 15 games. So he's going to be pretty close one way or the other.
and I
Yeah,
I
like
just
his 63 games, like that should matter more than like I'm trying to think of an example, like Tyrese Maxey's 74 games or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
Like,
Maxi's probably not a good example to use there, but
Yeah,
well,
because Maxi's production is somehow sustaining from what he like.
yeah.
I would okay. Here's my thing. Like Jokic was having an absolutely banana season. Like I won't lie. There was watching Jokic this season, and I know as cliche as this it sounds to be like, oh my God, he got even better. It was just like an awe to watch him have his way with what like Jokic normally is a revolving door in terms of he can get whatever he wants whenever he wants, but it felt disrespectful this season. Like something about watching Jokic being like, you know what? Fuck you. I am going to pirouette an extra time in front of you just because I can. I will take this even more egregious step back here. I'll just sling this one for the fuck of it and hope it goes somewhere. Jokic this season was playing with, instead of like that, like I got that dog in him, he had that Serbian turned all the way up where normally he's indifferent about coming to kill you, but this season feels like he's going
He's
through
Michael
the pro
Myers.
he's going through the process of like just absolute brutalizing people in front of him. Instead of like picking you apart, he's just like, fuck it. Like it's gonna happen. Let's happen. So it sucks that he could be having this season where the 1A 1B is more like an actual like very fine line to tread, and he gets disqualified because he missed one more game than he could have. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. As much as like I would love to be able to trust the 100 voters to be able to make the judgment call of like weighing Jokic's 59 games versus whatever example you guys think is better. I think the history of voting shows us that, there should be some sort of threshold there. So yeah, if you want to go 60 or like 62
Yeah, I
because he
was
missed
gonna.
20 games, sure.
I think they got the idea right, but maybe just like five too many games because I think 17 is yeah, that's 2 weeks of baskonball. You sprain one ankle and you're cooked.
No, I mean
Oh,
17.
true. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that's
not.
that's more than a
Wow.
month. Yeah. There's only 14 days in 2 weeks, Nate. But anyway, I have one last point about the All NBA thing. I definitely expected that you guys were going to at least disagree a little bit, but we're pretty much all on the same exact page. But while I was thinking about this, I did do some research into the last 10 years of All NBA voting and just found a few examples that I thought were interesting as far as guys who didn't hit the 65 game, because obviously that's only been a rule for, what, 2 seasons now? So,
Yep.
just
So
one
this
thing
is
I
the
just,
second.
yeah, I just wanted to mention quickly just one thing I found interesting. Jimmy Butler, 5-time All NBA member. 4 of those times he did not reach 65 games. And in fact, 3 of them he was under 60. So his last year in Chicago, the 16-17 season, he played 76 games. He was third team All NBA. So then the next season, 17-18, goes to Minnesota, plays 59 games. He's third team once again at 59
fucking
games.
party pooper over here.
Then, he has the down year. He, takes on the starters with the bench unit, ends up in Miami. The following season, though, plays 58 games and is rewarded with yet another third team All NBA. I know those the COVID year is a little bit shortened, whatever. But then the following season, they played 72 games. He played 52 of them. Yet another third team All NBA. And then the 2022-23 season in Miami, played 64 games and got a second team All NBA appearance. So I just thought that was just an interesting look at a resume there.
Yeah, he could have technically still made it though with the 64 games because they have like the exception rule of if you're within a certain amount, they can still. They had the exception, don't they? Where
No, it's
there's
not like you have to play at least 20 minutes in the game for it to count. So you play like 64 and get hurt in the 65th, like that still counts.
no. I'm pretty sure that there was they made an exception clause.
That is the exception clause. If you
No,
get hurt in
I
the
think there's an
65th,
Exception
then
exception.
clause.
I think there's an exception clause where if you play like 63, there are some exceptions that can be made, and you could still be made an all star or still be made
If
an
they
all
fuck
NBA.
with you enough, they're like, yeah,
No,
yeah,
like
yeah, come
basically
on.
like that. Yeah.
a player's admitted to they have to play at least 20 minutes in a game for it to count towards the 65, and they're allowed 2 games in which they don't meet the 20-minute threshold, but it still has to be at least 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Any
So then
outings
why
of
not
less than
just make
15
it?
minutes would not
That's
count toward the
fucking
minimum.
that's really restarted.
Yeah, so that's the exception there. So pretty
Like
much, yeah, you
Mikhail's
have to play 65 games, pretty much.
so like Mikhail's fake
Yeah, his
games
little check
played
in, check out
record.
thing, yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I don't know. I think we could definitely keep the rule, but for
Yeah,
today's
like
last,
I'd say I think my court ruling is keep the rule adjusted to 60 games and then call it a day. And if people still want to cry about it, then they can.
yeah,
Well,
because
like
yeah, there, yeah,
that's what Twitter's for.
there you go. All right. Last topic I want to talk about today, more current events. Kawhi Leonard on an absolute heater in the last week, and it just got me thinking. It's just a nice reminder that Kawhi is still at this level. He's still capable of being a top 10 player in all of basketball. And so I thought to myself, who does make that list of the top 10 players in all of basketball?
I hate
Usually
this guy.
the way I like to think about, when we're making like lists or whatever, we're ranking players, I like to think of it through the context of the NBA itself. So like trying to actually win the title right now, sort of
Opposed
context,
to
more
the
so than like,
NFL.
no, as opposed to like the way I think most people rank players where they're just,
Got your
no,
ass.
wait, no, let me finish. I think the way most people rank players is they just think about who's just a more individually talented basketball player, which doesn't always directly translate to like who would you actually want on your team if you were trying to win the title. But I wanted to think about who are the actual best players in basketball right now. So I have a
That
list here.
is that is also just your absurd way of justifying having Alex Caruso as the 47th best player in the NBA.
I think that's absolutely justified. That makes complete sense to me. But for
I
anyone that
every
disagrees, go
time.
ahead and make the list and see what happens when you get to
Every
47.
time.
But
If you made it to this part of the podcast, please comment and call Dion words for me.
all
Or
right.
call Dion smart. Say how
Put your top
smart he is.
47 players in the comments below.
Comment
And
your
if Alex
47th.
Caruso
Comment
is
your
there-
47th best player in the NBA. Anyways,
And I'll probably take Alex Caruso over them. But anyway, I have a list of the top 10 in regards to I think it's just the best basketball players right now here today on January 3rd, 2026. So
Okay.
I asked you guys, I give you guys a little bit of homework to make your list as well. But if not, I will share mine and you guys can react to it.
I have mine. I think we should do it though from 1 to 10 because we both know Kawhi's not going to be in the top five most likely. So I think it's more exciting if we.
Dion, anyway, see, look at that smile. I can't
Hey, hey,
trust that little
hey.
grin.
All right, yeah, we'll start at the top. I think we all would agree Jokic is the best player in the
Yeah.
world right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Gets maybe a little dicey
Crazy
here.
number two.
Might
Oh.
be. I think two. It's two or three, whichever you want to do it. I think Giannis is a better basketball player than SGA. Just like peak for peak, I'm still taking Giannis. Um, Mitch, you
I
disagree?
feel like Mitch is agreeing. He's
I
doing that just.
disagree,
Oh,
actually.
you're Canadian.
I,
You
I,
can't give a
I,
fair input.
fuck. Damn, that's right.
What are
No,
you
I was
saying,
gonna
Nate?
say I'm.
Oh,
Oh,
that's right.
yeah,
My
Mitch,
bad,
don't
my
God,
speak.
bad.
bro.
Mitch, don't
Fuck you.
speak.
Now, obviously, I got to give it to my Canadian brother, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But I can see the unethical hoops committee go. But what about Giannis, who is playing just pure hatred-filled basketball? And I say, no, that's
Hatred
fine.
filled. That's a good way to. He
That's what
actually.
it is, dude.
He's
Um,
just nothing but rage-induced drives at the bat straight to the rim. Yeah,
yeah,
I have Giannis too though right now, just because of what he brings overall to a team. Is other than Wemby, you really can't replicate what Giannis can bring. I know he's not quite the defender he used to be, but he's still an all-world level defender who's also the most unstoppable player in the
Yeah.
world when it comes to driving to the paint.
Like
yeah.
favorite, just like famous quote from Giannis. Remember that time where he said, "I just taste for the first time a smoothie." Man, God bless America. Like Giannis, it's funny to see this kind of like douchey side of him where he's like a little bit like, yeah, I'm fed up with my piece of shit team, with my piece of shit corporation, and my piece of shit teammates.
But I'm not going to tell them
But
how much of a piece of
but
shit I think they
but I
are.
don't want to request a trade publicly because I care about my image. Like it's usually I don't see a lot of like dickhead stuff from Giannis that's like off the court. Most of it's like, oh, that was kind of like a little pussyfooted thing to do
You
on the
hear
court,
about
Giannis.
that time when he took that child's toy and destroyed it right in front of him?
He went, ah, you
I,
have you.
th I think you're gonna reference the like when he tried to take the game ball,
Yeah, that was
or
a
like
really.
when he moved the ladder out of the dude's way. He was trying to shoot free throws after the Sixers game.
Hey, get the fucking ladder out of my way, dude. I'm trying to
No,
shoot
I,
free
I heard
throws.
something else about the latter situation. I forget what it was, but it didn't sound like it was entirely Giannis's fault. But that was a really long time
Oh,
ago.
that one's open to interpretation, I'll say. But yeah, what's not
Hey,
open to
it's not as
interpretation.
Anyways,
bad
we're
as
not having a
brandishing a
conversation
firearm on
on this. Is
Instagram.
not
Yeah,
this is not an open discussion or an open forum on Giannis's moral character. This is
yeah,
just news.
just his basketball talent. Yeah,
So
so
then we both have SGA third, which is
right.
yeah. And then 4, 5, 6 is where it gets really tricky for me.
Ooh.
This is tough. This is where Wemby enters the conversation for me. And there's two guys, and Nate, you said the same. There's two guys I could see the argument over him for like the experience aspect of it. We still haven't seen Wemby in the playoffs,
Well,
right?
and
So
and
it's
just
tough.
for me, it's the experience, not just that, but it's also Wemby's a very good scorer and can turn it on, but he's not the consistent elite level number one option that I think you need right now to win a championship. And maybe he'll prove that wrong in the playoffs, but that's the reason why I still don't think the Spurs are ready when it's going to come down to a 7 game series. There's two guys who I either am going to put over him or under him because Wemby's defense is either that much greater that it doesn't even matter, or these two guys are that good of scorers that I can't not put them over and have been two guys that have consistently been top performers in the playoffs, which I also care a lot about. Um, so I guess I'll unorder them right now, and we'll talk this out. I have 4, 5, and 6. I have Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Victor Wembanyama.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. So you were saying Wemby's not enough of a number one scoring option to ultimately put him there?
He could be, but I'm like, I
Yeah,
see it
yeah.
some games. Some games, I'm like, I need Wemby to do something for me, and then he's just not. He didn't do it. Like I again, it's hard for me to put a guy in the top five who gets locked up by Mitchell Robinson.
That's a good it's
Damn,
a good point. It's a good point. But I think
these
that
cats cooking right now.
he he himself is just so game breaking defensively. And if I'm
Yes.
leading into the context of I just need to win this one game or this one playoff series or whatever, like just who is the best player right now, I think that trumps enough of like the inconsistency offensively. He's so much better than everyone else on defense. Like
Yeah,
you mentioned Giannis, but it's just such a gap that I did go with Wemby fourth. And then my two guys, I think this is where guys you're gonna be upset, but I actually went with Kawhi and Luka as my two.
You're smoking crack.
Oh my god,
Crack
bro. Oh my
smoker
fucking god. Oh my
galore.
fucking
What
god.
Kawhi has
Kawhi,
proven that
oh,
he's
hold
still
on.
capable of.
Sip up
Dude,
Kawhi's
this is the
pants.
most 2 week recency bias
Okay,
bullshit of all
that is
fucking time.
it's not biased because that is the point of what we're talking about here. Is who do I think is actually that good right this second? Kawhi is just proving it right now that he's still at that level that he's been at. So yes, I don't trust him in the context of trying to go win 4 playoff rounds or even get to the playoffs in the Clippers scenario. But if we're just talking about who is the best basketball player, if I was trying to win a game tomorrow of just whatever a semblance of players, like I think Kawhi is in that fifth spot for me. I don't think that's crazy.
You know what? Hey, that's the thing about crazy people. They don't know they're crazy. Um, shout out to Kawhi's, if you sorted by fantasy, last 30 day stats. But come on, come on, like it's nice to see Kawhi get to this level, but in again, sustained play. I
But
had
it's not, no, the
Kawhi.
sustained play is not the factor here. Like this is not what I'm talking about for this list. I'm just talking about who I think is actually
I would
the best
still,
basketball player right
But the
now.
again, I would.
consistency still matters in being good today. And I think he's having this insane 2 week stretch and he's still really good.
And that's what I'm saying.
It's
Kawhi is capable. He's proven time and time again. He's capable of these 2, 3 week stretches of just dominant play where he looks like a top five ish player in the world. And that's all I'm looking for in the context of this discussion. Like who
Okay.
can reach the highest peaks as a basketball player? I think
I see, I
Kawhi.
see, I see where you got there, but I think the three players have shown, like the three that Nate listed, and those are also my list. They've shown those sustained peaks at a higher like tier or within
like
the same tier, but ahead
I
of Kawhi, and they've been doing it for longer. Would be my other thing. Is
Mm.
like is like I've okay. For example, you can take any 2 weeks that Luca has had and be like, okay, that stretch is better than Kawhi's stretch. You could take the like single captured because I know you care more about like, okay, this is what this player has shown me within this parameter to prove to me that they're better than this player. Like you said, Wemby's defense is just so game breakingly busted that whatever offensive gap you'd like to put towards
Hmm.
there, the defense and actual sheer presence of Victor Wembanyama is just that much more
And
potent
Kawhi,
for
I
the
mean,
playoff
obviously to a
setting.
way lesser degree, Kawhi has some of that too. Like he's been great defensively in this 2 week stretch. He's
He
still
again,
capable.
he's been great, but not to those levels of those
No,
two
no,
week
no,
stretches
no,
that you're
not
talking
peak.
about.
and it's also even if you want to talk about the last month, I mean Jalen Brunson's had a better last month than Kawhi has, anyways. So I don't really see the argument
I'm
for.
surprised you put Kawhi above Jalen Brown yourself, Dion.
Yeah,
Like in
I
terms of
honestly
like,
wouldn't have. I still
yeah,
think I'd take Jalen Brown right now over
yeah.
Kawhi.
Wow. So
And
wait,
now,
he's not even in your top 10
Kawhi's
oh,
still?
not on my top 10 though. I know as
Wow.
much as we had this to talk about Kawhi,
yeah,
no.
I'm sorry. He also didn't make my top 10 lists. So
Wow. Interesting. Are you wait? So Mitch, your list so far is Jokic, SGA, Giannis, and then who do you have four?
four would be Luca, and then I would
Okay.
have Brunson, and then I have Wemby.
Yeah,
Now,
that's what I'm doing too. I think.
Okay.
I would go so far as to flip Luca and Giannis because they're for me they're on the same tier, but I do have them like a 3A 3B because
Fair.
like
Okay.
we said, the absolute the gap of how the offense gets there is ginormous, but the actual like the 35 versus the Lucas 35 is very much like a comparable thing on the stat sheet. Like
Hmm.
same thing, they're both gonna find like their corner spray outs when they get doubled. Luca just finds them more often, and Luca's offense like leads to more. But I think in terms of the Bucks personnel, it would be hard for Giannis to get to those kind of like tertiary gravity
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Also, the best straight line driver in the NBA today, other than Wemby at this point, but I still think the actual like, I think the 10 foot to 0 foot like ability to explode, Giannis still has that over him.
Yeah. I don't even
But
know that I would give Wemby the straight line driver title either. Like I still think Giannis is more unstoppable.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, like yeah, but like again, like in terms of like that tier, I would still have them above
Well,
Wemby. Like
I think
Wemby's right there,
I,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
line is still above Wemby's head, is what
well,
I would say.
I think my issue with having Wemby not being in that top five is the fact that he feels so stoppable for a guy that's 7'5" with supposedly or a guy who's supposed to have a really good jumper. Some nights he has a really good jumper. Other nights, I really don't understand why he doesn't take the mid range dribble pull ups more because it feels like one of his best shots every time I watch him. I don't have the percentages in front of me on them, but I feel like that consistently is one of his more comfortable shots where he's just stepping in and he can shoot over people. It feels like, we're getting less threes obviously than last year, but Wemby makes life more difficult for himself sometimes than it needs to be. and he's going to learn that obviously. And in a year, I'll probably have him firmly in the top two in the world. But yeah, I just think being a 30 plus point per game scorer in the playoffs, the regular season, and being able to carry a lifeless team offensively holds more weight in
Hmm.
my eyes. Especially when we've seen Luka drag a team to the finals. We've seen Brunson drag a team to the, or not drag a team to the Eastern Conference Finals, but be one of the best playoff performers,
Yeah, lead a
in the
team, not
league.
drag them, but he
Yeah.
led them.
Um, and then Luka is just, I think a lot of people underrate how good Luka still is and how good Luka is. I think a lot of people who put him in the same level as like the Jokic and the Luka fans that want to put him in that conversation overrate him. So I think there's kind of that conflicting. Luka isn't properly rated really by anybody in the NBA, but at the end of the day, if you're talking about ability to just carry a team by themselves, I don't know that there's anybody in the league I'd take over, Luka or other than Jokic.
Hmm. Yeah, and part of this
Putting
for me. Oh, go ahead, Mitch.
sorry, putting on my intern hat for a second, just to exaggerate the point that Nate made about Wemby in the short mid range. On the left side of the floor, in terms of short mid range to mid range attempts, he shoots 70%
Damn.
from the short mid range on the left side of the floor. Left side of the floor from three, he shoots 43%.
Mm.
Like that short mid range, and like first of all, just a little mind-boggling right here. 65% right at the cup. Still fucking nuts. Like to contextualize that, that's still within like the top like 80% of the league. So fantastic there. But like Wemby, as soon as he passes the free throw line, those little rise ups he could do,
Yeah.
70% is mind-boggling. Like you're right, take those short mid-range shots way more. And you don't have to settle for because he does have a lot above the like just right over the three-point line, above the three-point the free throw line kind of jumpers. 29% from there. So like that's kind of like a hey
Yucky
man,
spot.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
once
take
you
those
once he gets
yuckily.
inside the free throw line, it's basically a layup. Like his arms
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
extending halfway to the basket. So
And but here's the other thing. When tracking those stats, like do the actual statistics show that, those layups where he's still like 5 feet away from the basket, are those skewing other percentages? Who knows at the grand
yeah,
scheme of things. But I still think like if Wemby genuinely wants to be that like top three player that he has like obviously the tools and intangibles to
Yeah.
do, being able to say, all right, I've made my one step away from the restricted area. I'm just gonna put it in. Like he needs to play more like that. And there's been spurts where like that genuinely happens, where he realizes, wait a minute, I could just drop it in. It still feels weird to me that like a guy he's still only 22, but we expect so much more from him. Like whether or not that's because the extraterrestrial was supposed to run the league in year three, or whether or not we're just tired of seeing Shea and Jokic go 1A, 1B. Like it as fans, it's an anomaly, but it feels like the anomaly has kind of like the allure of Wemby's identity has kind of faded in a lot of fans' minds, where
mm.
it's like this guy still is so gigantic compared to the other giants of the league, and the fluidity is insane, and it shouldn't be able to move like this. But a lot of the initial magic, I think in year three, people have just gone like, yeah, Wemby's going to do that.
Yeah, and I think part of it, like them being as good as they were in the stretch that he missed, I think kind of like took a little way, like took away some of the fire as far as like the Wemby support. So yeah, I ended up going Wemby, Kawhi, Luka as my 4, 5, 6, and I'll just mention this is next where I would slide in 2024 Tatum. We'll see like how close he gets back to that level, but just wanted to slide that in there.
All
And
right.
then I go pretty cut and dry for me after that. I got Curry and Brunson as my next two, Ant and KD to wrap up the list. That's where I stand. I feel like
So
it's
Curry, no, seven. Yeah. Curry
yeah,
seven, Brunson eight.
yeah, Ant 9, KD
Yeah.
10 to wrap up
Okay.
the list.
Okay.
I just think we're talking peak for peak. Like Curry is just that much better than Brunson for me, and then I think Ant proved it head to head. Like Ant is just that much better than KD right now. So I think that's pretty cut and dry how I wrap up my list. I don't know if you guys have any quibbles.
Uh,
Um. Yeah. I had Ant, and then I had Steph.
Mm.
Then I had Donovan Mitchell, and then I had
Oh.
Kevin Durant.
So oh, you because you didn't have Kawhi, so that's the one guy.
No, yeah, Kawhi's not in there. Kawhi I'd probably
Donovan.
have somewhere in that like 12 to 15 range.
Okay, got you. Fair enough. Mitch, how'd you wrap it up?
so I now I feel like I got a little bit of egg on my face.
Oh,
Because seven, sorry, so seven was Wemby for me because I didn't have Kawhi. And then my number eight was Steph, and then Ant, and then Donovan Mitchell, and then Cade would be
mm-hmm.
right there. Like Cade would be
Yeah.
like 10 or 11, and I could swap it. I think Brunson to me has proved that it's like in terms of like evaluating who I want on a championship team, I would pay. I take him over like Curry, but I understand having you like I understand your perspective where it's like we have seen
Yeah,
just the echelon that Curry has reached.
Yeah.
I get it too.
I do think that echelon is a step of the past, but it's still very much like 92% there.
Hmm.
But I think Brunson has separated himself from that to me, and I think Cade. I would take Cade over KD, but I understand also your point to having him within that. Like for me, KD could be 10, he could be like 13. Like
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah, that's fair.
range
Yeah,
for that.
Katie, I still got to see. Like, Katie has just done it enough times to where I had to give him the respect to be number 10. But yeah, when we start to factor in like consistency and things of that nature, like that's where I have Brunson over Curry. But if we're just talking peak for peak, like what I think Curry's still capable of, um, yeah, I would just go that much more over Brunson. And yeah, I would say I only had three guys that I considered to also be in the mix. I had Donovan Mitchell clearly at 11, Cade clearly at 12. And then I did want to respect my guy JB with the way that he's been playing recently. I had him as the 13th guy on the list right now.
I'd probably have him 11, like
I'd
right
have
after
Yeah.
KD.
yeah, I'd have JB interchangeable with Cade as in 12 and
So
13
yeah,
if I
yeah,
could.
that's fair.
I would also have Shengun close to that level, I think, right now.
He's probably 14 for
Yeah,
me.
I'd probably do the mix of those, and then I'd have Şengün and Kawhi like swappable.
Hmm. Okay, fair enough. Well,
Look at us playing nice in the sandbox, having
Yeah.
having genuine. Now
Wait,
I
because
will
you
say
said you
this.
said you said Luca was seven. No, you said Wemby was
I'll
seven.
read
So
off I'll
who?
read off my list. Okay, so I have
No,
Jokic.
no, not you, not
Oh,
you,
sorry. Oh,
Mitch.
my
Yeah,
bad. Yeah, fuck my
because
list.
because it was like it was like Luca Brunson was like the right there 4 and 5, and then I might have actually I think who the fuck did I
Did you
have
mean
7?
six?
So yeah, sorry, 6 was there because it would be Jokic, Shea, and then I had Luca and then Giannis, and then it was going to
Hmm.
be
Brunson Wemby.
Brunson, Wemby, and then I think I actually might have had Ant right there, and then Steph right after that. So technically, you could say like my 10/11 would have been Cade, and then you could also point to me in the direction of like KD in that instance
Yeah,
because I wasn't too mad at KD being on your list, Dion, but also I was like Kawhi again. He's jumped a lot, but having him that high and within the top 10 is like, yeah, I see your vision, but I don't want to smoke what you're smoking, if you understand.
I guess so. I don't know. That Pistons game just spoke to me, man. I
you're like
mean, he's
holding a
just been.
crack pipe. I'm like trying to like not get.
I'm trying to like put the crack pipe down, but you're like,
Yeah,
no, I
you're like
swear
no,
it's
no,
gonna be
it's good for you. You can use it medically. Um,
the medical crack.
someone who didn't come close to my list was Josh Primo. I don't know if you guys that's like a
Yeah, he was like on my long list when I first got into this exercise, but he ultimately did not make the cut for me.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
He's
fucked
shown
up joke to
flashes,
make,
if you
Mr.
will. He's shown
Sherman.
flashes, but you know.
Oh wow,
That's so untasteful right there. My
wow.
goodness.
I think that's where we wrap this one up, fellas. It's been a good one. So we'll be
Mitch is
Yo,
back.
drinking
shout
it.
out.
Mitch's drink is finished. He's to his ice now. We have to wrap it up.
Yeah, don't point that out. Now I feel silly. To be fair,
Uh,
it was a delicious iced coffee.
No,
Shout out Keurig.
the worst
mm,
thing is like when you're like
Sponsor us.
you're sitting somewhere in public and you're like I don't know, you make eye contact with someone or someone looks like they're looking at you and you just like want to pretend to not be seen, so you take a
But it's a
drink of your
clear
empty
cup, and you're like,
no, your empty like soda cup and there's ice in it. You're like, this ice is very icy
oh, you
tasting.
guys aren't ice chewers?
No, I chew ice,
Okay.
but like it's also like I kind of look like a
I don't want to be known as
you
an
don't really look
ice
the
chewer.
you
That
don't look
sounds
like
like
the
a
most
Canadian racial slur.
you don't look like the most sophisticated human in public just
Nah,
chomping
nah,
on
nah.
ice.
You know,
Like,
you,
oh, wow.
you make a decent case there. You make a decent case. But that'll wrap us for this episode. We'll be back again with another one on Tuesday. But until then, make sure you subscribe to the pod. Make sure you tell your friends about us. Follow us on all socials at 2for1hoops. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. What?
Yeah, my stomach just growled so
Oh,
loudly. I didn't know if you heard that in the
I don't
microphone.
think so. Comment down below if you heard Nate's stomach growl.